Well, my friend, here we are. I was watching episode 1 recently, and there was one spot, either episode 1 or 2, and you're like, how now, brown cow?
It's back when
It was so funny.
I had to warm up for this kind of stuff. Now I just go.
You know what's funny is not only have we transitioned probably physically, emotionally, mentally, and everything since this started, but it's real life. Like, it's almost like a podcast, but it's more like reality.
Yeah, reality TV.
Storytelling.
Yeah, it really is. Like
It's not like written scripts reading like back in the days of radio when it was story time, you know. It's almost like reality audio.
TV. Yeah.
It's weird.
Which I guess off record, this should be a reality show.
It
really should.
It really should. Yeah, especially my after 5 activities with my family and all the craziness there. That would be.
Yeah.
My wife actually said not too long ago, she was like, kids, do you think we need to call Super Nanny? And they were like, yeah. We were like, oh no, you do not want. She would come in here.
Oh my gosh, we should. I want to dress up as like.
My ass in there.
Imagine me as like Mrs. Doubtfire showing up to your kids for the first time. Yeah.
Hello. That was great. That movie came on not too long ago. One of those little nighttime movie channel things, and I got sucked in and I watched it again.
Oh, it's great.
Love Robin Williams. Miss that guy.
You know, you've got like a Pierce Bronson look to you.
No, dude.
This is your hair pulled back.
Shaking
Kind of reminds me
instead.
of the pool scene in Mrs. Doubtfire when he throws the fruit at the back of the guy's head.
Yeah.
Like your hair's like slicked back like his.
Because that is, that is a scene. Pierce Brosnan. Most people don't remember that he was in that.
I know.
Good call.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was the dating guy.
Boyfriend. Yeah. And
Dream
he
boy,
chokes at the end. And sorry, spoiler alert. If you
If you haven't seen Mrs. Doubtfire.
It's 20 years old. Get with the program.
No kidding.
Hey, but you know what also is great? If you go back to episode 1, I didn't have a fan. You know, 1.
There's a part in that movie though where the old guy and him are and they're drinking.
Yes,
and they just keep slamming him back.
You scallywag.
When I watch that, I think about us. I'm like, that is so funny because
that is.
It's like this fake yeah, oh, one more, and he's just getting smashed.
Yeah, that was like episode 07.
That was fun.
If you go back, you know, there's a big difference in today and in 01. I think this is like one of the first. There's one.
We're not any better. We're just more relaxed. No,
I'm more professional. Look at this. I got a collared shirt on.
Name tag.
Yeah, a name tag. Not just any name tag.
What is that badge on?
Look at this. What does it say? What does it say?
That says
official.
Official. Oh, that's right. You're on the 88 Realty team.
I am on the 88 Realty team now. It's official.
Technically, though, you're still not employed.
Correct.
You're contract because realtors
I'm contractor.
Are contract, right? So it's kind of funny because you do have income potential.
Yes.
Now you got to work.
Yeah. Now I got to hustle.
Yeah.
But what's so crazy? I mean, like if you go back and we may have to play.
He said hustle. I said work.
I call it grit.
Grit.
If you go back to like we're talking about going back and listen to episodes. If you go back and listen to 009, and I'm sure we can like insert that here to play it.
Sure.
You know what that was? It was me being content, being complacent.
It was the imprisonment of normalcy.
Normalcy, yes.
Yeah.
And it took me having to get out of the day job, out of the corporate world, behind a desk where I felt like I was just a prisoner. Not
which you didn't decide on. They
They
decided for you. Yeah.
Right.
They clipped your wings.
Yeah.
You had to, and like, oh shit, I got to fly now.
But it's one of the best things that ever happened to me.
Of course.
And you know, one of the things that I was doing then is I was going through a CRM database and having to clean it up. Do you want to know what I had passion doing 2 nights ago until about 1 a.m.?
Going through a CRM program.
And adding all my sphere of influence. And it's an identical system.
But now you're passionate about it.
I wasn't working. I didn't feel like I was working.
Yeah.
I've been up here all day and I don't feel like I'm working.
And but back then, when you were working through the CRM system, you were like a drone behind a screen.
Yes.
you were numb.
Right.
Last night you stayed up late working in a CRM system.
Yeah.
Because you're passionate about it, because now all of a sudden it's your network of people that you have to work with and to grow and your sphere of influence in order to do business and transact, right?
Right.
That's awesome.
And it's like...
Same task, different point of view, different outcome.
Yeah, and I think it's just because I allowed myself to have flexibility now.
Yeah.
And I have freedom in that. Like when I drove up here today, I was like, I've probably, by the time this week's over, I've probably put in more than 40 hours.
Sure.
But I haven't been here the whole time.
Right.
I've been doing it at home, and so,
and at the coffee shop and at the here and at there. Yeah.
Right. And so it's kind of cool to think, I'm actually working, but it doesn't feel like work. Mm-hmm. So it's
not to
cool.
mention we have a pretty cool office atmosphere.
Yeah, it is. It's true.
Pretty chill up here. Sometimes too chill, but we have fun. And that's what it's all about. I'm not gonna run an organization that doesn't have fun. I'm just not gonna do it.
Right.
So, Welcome to the party.
Welcome to the fun club.
The fun club. It's a fun club now. We have a resident. We have a resident MC, spokesperson, comedian, actor, philanthropist.
Oh, so yesterday, are you ready for this? I'm like full of life now.
I get it.
Bam.
I wish we had one of those aura cameras and we could see your aura right now.
I know.
And if you're not watching this podcast, you're listening. We appreciate that. But if you're not watching it, you're missing half the fun. Because it's some of the facial expressions are great, and you miss a little bit of the content by not watching. But that's cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
But you might catch an aura if you pick up this one and watch it, because Hoss is going to make him glow. It's going to be awesome.
And if you watch this episode, it's going to make you want to join Team 88 Realty.
Or get up off your ass and do
Team
something.
Senior Verde.
Yeah.
Do something.
Yeah.
Unhook the trailer that is holding you back from doing what you need to do. Wow. Oh, I just got one of those moments, didn't I? Is that one of those
one of those moments?
Yeah.
It was almost like... it was real close. No, it was good. It was good.
So yesterday, this is going to throw you for a loop, but yesterday I actually auditioned for it'll be an Oklahoma public safety PSA on marijuana.
Wow.
And they wanted people who could laugh hysterically.
Wow, you win that one. Pans over.
I had the casting director and the casting assistant crying. They were laughing at me.
Oh my
They
God.
made me laugh hysterical for probably a minute and a half.
Oh my God.
At one point, I thought I was going to black out. And they didn't want me to be funny either.
Yeah.
I just did my laugh. And then I just lost it. And then I started laughing at them, laughing at me. If I don't get this role, there's something wrong with the world.
Something wrong with the world, yeah.
Now, either that or whoever gets cast looks more like a stoner.
Yeah.
Because I'm not a stoner.
Yeah.
But
he'll be real laid back, droopy eyes.
But everybody else...
that's... I don't know.
Everybody else was in business clothes, and I was in a button-up and jeans.
Wow.
So, I don't know. We'll find out.
They were probably really stoned.
At work.
Yeah. That's cool.
Whatever. So if I get it, I'll shoot.
I mean, it's not cool to be stoned at work.
No, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, not ever. I mean, unless your job is to get stoned to test the potency of the drug.
Right.
You probably shouldn't be doing that at work.
Right.
But what if that's your job? Like, hey, man, check this out. This is our new hybrid. Take a hit. Whoa.
I'm in test and
like
development.
Quality control.
Yeah.
Research and dev, R&D.
Yeah.
That'd be... that's a real job somewhere.
I wouldn't want my title to be High on Life.
My mom actually has a necklace, and on the back of it, it says High on Life.
Really?
She's had it for decades. Yeah,
Is
it's
it a
little
weed
gold
necklace?
medallion. No. It's a little gold medallion she had because people used to ask her where she got all of her energy and how she was so vibrant all the time, because she'd gone through a lot of rough patches in her day. And she would just say, I'm just high on life. I'm just high on life. I'm happy to be alive.
That's awesome.
Yeah. She's still like that. She's 82, and she bounces off the walls.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of deafening, but it's good. Love you, Mom.
I love you too, Senior Verde Mom.
Yeah, she listens. She listens to the podcast. She follows, of course, everything that I'm doing. And sometimes I get these text messages about, well, that was pretty rough, but you got it anyway, and I know you're doing your thing, and blah, blah, blah. It's cute.
Momma Verde, just reach out to me and let me know what questions I need to ask to really get deep.
No way. I'm not going there.
I can get like a notepad and like write things down. Be like your therapist.
Right? No, we're not doing that. So last time you whipped out some Post-it notes, had a bunch of different thoughts and things like that on them. And We did one or two of those. We knocked those out. They are in the lead in of the last episode.
I feel like if this was a series, this would be like the season 1 finale. Because it's almost kind of like we started at one place where like, you know, I didn't work, in this area or in this team. And I worked at a job that I was complacent in and I wasn't really growing in.
Yeah.
And we went through all of that to now, bam, here I am, I'm on the team.
So this is episode 1 of season 2.
Yeah.
One of the transitions we went through was shortening the podcasts to make them more user-friendly.
Right.
Because we could do these for 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
And that's cool for like Jocko and Tim Ferriss and those guys. But people commute, 18 to 25 minutes on average, I think, nationally. And so we're like, hey, let's get in that pocket where they can maybe get to work a couple minutes early and sit in the car and finish the episode or catch it as soon as they come out, et cetera. So we've ratcheted that back. I think most of them now, Haas, if I'm not incorrect, are right around 30 minutes or just slightly less. Some 28 in those ranges. But I like doing that. I think we need to stay on topic and tighten up some of that stuff because there's so much that we want to delve into. And it's so hard because the first 5 minutes we want to catch up because it's usually been a week since we've really done anything outside of work. We really want to catch up and do that fun stuff and create the mood, get in the mood, so to speak. And so, I think we're going to move forward, and we'll call this episode 1 of season 2, just in theory.
Right, yeah. It's a new chapter. So new things coming.
So going back to those Post-it notes from last week, do you remember what those were, those ideas?
Yeah, I guess like now that I'm in a position where, I don't have a steady stream of income flowing in, how would one really budget or forecast when they're on like 100% commission?
That's a great question, man. So this is budgeting and finance, right? This is a question about how do I manage my money when I'm a commission salesperson. First of all, in order to be a commission salesperson, to go from unemployed to commission sales, hopefully you have a nest egg or some segue financially to get you there. What we look at, though, on the budgeting side and the finance side, and we may go like super monotone, boring here for some of you. You may tune me out, but it's budget. It's budget. It's budget. It's budget. You live on a budget, right?
Right.
Every dollar has a name, so the Ramsey team likes to say and has for years. So all you do is you allocate your necessities. You know exactly what you have to have, and then you base that off of your income as it comes in. And after you can't just start from scratch because all you have on there from scratch from day one is just your have-to-haves. Like, I have to have this much money in the next 30 days to live. Okay, well, if you're a commission salesperson, you go from no nest egg to only commission sales. You might not have a check the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. You need something to transition. But your budget at that point would include just the bare minimums to survive.
Right.
Your rent, your lights, your water, and not in that order. I've said rent first, then water so you can shower. You can live in the dark if you have to, right? So you go with the bare necessities and you figure out how to make that work and how to acquire the cash or the income to do that. And you work through the basics. Now, let's go 90 days in. You have your first big win. You have your first big deal. You've sold some furniture. You've sold some cars. You've sold some homes, whatever the scenario is. You get your first check. You take that check and you go as deep into that necessity pool as you can for 1 month. And then I wouldn't, unless I saw something else on the horizon, I wouldn't go any deeper than that. I would go back. I'd go to the second month, necessity only. I would play that check out until I got as many months of necessity as I could. Or if I saw something on the horizon, I would say, okay, in the next 45 days, I'm going to have another check. So I'm going to play this one into necessity mode here and here, which is 60 days, 2 months out. And then I'm going to turn around and I'm going to go with the third one. I'm going to go, okay, necessity, month and a half, and maybe a little bit of pleasantry and a little bit of things that I need to add to that. Replacement clothes, car allowance, things like that, fuel and stuff. So you just got to be extremely creative. But what you do is once you build a commission sales pattern, then you take that money that comes in and you divide it by, you spread it out as much as you can. So it's an average. So if you have 10,000 in this month and 2,000 in this month and 1,500 in the next month, well, the average of that is 10 and 2 and 1,500 is 13,500. You take 13,500 and you budget 3 months out of that, right? Or you budget 5 months out of that. However, you can squeeze that out and stretch it as far as you can.
So do you recommend having multiple bank accounts? Like you have a savings account, maybe you put all that in and then you pay yourself by,
I don't think you necessarily have to have a savings account. I think you should go 100% to a cash budget immediately, all cash. Now, that means that if you have lunch money and it's outside of your grocery money because you're not making all your lunches and taking them with you for the day, then you allocate that lunch money, you put it in this envelope or in this pocket or however you want to carry it around.
Right.
And that's the money. And when it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
And then you don't swipe the card. You don't do anything else. You have a backup plan like your food at home is you're extended over into your lunches, or you're very strict and you go, I have a $10 a day meal allowance, so I'm only going to eat one meal out and it's $10. So I got to drink water. I got to get something that's $8.95 on the menu, and I got to tip $1.05 or whatever. You got to really stretch. You got to tighten that up.
I hope this happens while we're in the middle of this podcast. But before we started, I actually used Waiter to order food, and what would have been like a $10 meal turned out to be like $20.
Yeah, and when you have discretionary income, you can do that. The luxury of the convenience of that. Convenience is a luxury,
and that's
right?
the hard part. Going from being in that lifestyle to now, I've really got to live as if I'm almost in a poverty level right now.
Yeah.
And it's humbling, but it's also kind of driven too.
For sure. I mean, you got something to strive for.
Yeah.
Like, I need to pay my rent. That's striving,
Right.
I need to be able to have a steak dinner every now and
No,
then.
I'm like a bear. I've been hibernating for 33 years. I can miss a few meals.
So the way that works is, like I said, it's structurally a couple of different ways you can do it. You can take that check and you can stretch it into the necessities as far as you want to go into the weeks and months ahead. Or you can say, I'm banking on this next one. I don't have a bird in hand, but I know that's coming because it's under contract, because it's in queue. I know there's a closing date set,
right,
et cetera. Not like, I think I'm going to sell something, but there's a deal on the table. There's a commission check coming. It's just a matter of time. And even though some of those deals do fall apart at the closing table, the majority of them don't. The majority of them close, right? So it's just whether it closes on Wednesday or Friday or the next Wednesday sometimes. So I wouldn't get too stretched out on the theory of a closing or the theory of a commission check in coming soon. I would say that's a deal. It's on the table. The financing's in. Both parties agree. There's a closing date on the calendar. I'm expecting my check around that date.
Yeah.
So you take the check you have now and you play it out until that date comes in. And sometimes that may play out into necessities over a 3-month span. And sometimes it may only play out into a 6-week span.
Yeah.
Depends on the deal. You got to understand that some of the commission checks for deals that are coming your way are going to be $3,000-$4,000. So, if you can stretch that out over 2 months, and then there's another one the following month, and another one the following month, well, now you're overlapping, and you've got you're building up to getting to that point. But right now, you're in crisis emergency mode. Like you've got a little bit of money in savings, you got a little, money coming in from this little deal or this little deal, but that's what you budget with.
Right.
And then the rest of it, you inject into your budget as it comes. But once you've been in commission sales for a while, you can look back and go 12-month spread. This is what I brought in. And the next month you go, okay, 12-month spread. And next month you do 12. We call it a trailing 12 in the investment strategy side of things. What's the trailing 12 income look like? What's the trailing 12 expenses look like? Same thing for you. Go back 12 months to October of last year. Then in October of this year, go back to November of last year. Just keep going back 12-month pockets and keep looking at it. You'll build an average somewhere in there. And then you'll know how to budget off of that based on your income. Because you may have a $30,000 March and a $2,000 April.
Right.
And then a $15,000 May and a $6,000 June.
Right.
But you're looking for that average.
Well, that's why I know I have to get the ball rolling now, because here we are, September. Holidays are just a couple months away.
Right.
And so it's all right, I got to have Christmas money.
Yeah, well, let me go a little bit deeper, because you just said Christmas and it's September, right?
Right.
So I have a 12-month, I have a $12,000 month, and I have a fluctuating commission income. How do I do that on a budget? Well, you take $12,000, you go into your budget, and you leave the money in the account for however many months of rent. You leave the money in the account for however many months of your car payment, if you have one. You leave enough in your account for however many months of your water bill, your electric bill, your grocery bill. You just leave it in there. and you play it out. Now, when that month gets full and you're down $5,000, you go, oh, cool, I still have $7,000 to play with. You do the very next month.
Yeah.
And then you do $2,000 into the third month, right? That 12 just got played out. So your budget doesn't change. Your budget's the same. It just grows as your income grows and your averages grow over the time. But you take that $12,000 check and you literally play it out into those months until it's gone. So that you know if no other checks come in until that date, you're good.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like I'm giving myself my own severance.
Sort of. Yeah, sort of. So you take that $300 car payment that would be, September, October, November, December, and you take $300 times each month over those 4 months, you leave that in your account out of that big check. And so you leave all that rent in there for the big check. And you can play it out as far or as shallow as you want it. You can just say, oh, I better just play it over 2 months because I don't want to hurt that bad.
Right.
Or I can really go poverty and I can stretch it over 6 months and I can hurt bad. But when you do that, sometimes I think you exercise that muscle. And I think you'll find that you'll stretch yourself out and then you'll get another big win in the middle of that timeline. And now you're like, oh, cool, I got a bunch of extra cash. What should I do with it? Well, I've already lived 60 days like this. Maybe I'll just play it out even further and stay down here for a while.
Right.
The problem is most people don't want to stay down there for very long, right?
Right.
I've been there. I'm not saying that you should do this. I never did it. This is my theory. I've done this, and I know how it works. And once you get in that place, it hurts for a little while. Then you kind of get used to it. Then once you're used to it, you're kind of like, well, I think I really don't need to go out and do that thing that I've really been wanting to do because I kind of like having the cushion of 6 months, I'm at a place now in my life where we try to budget between 6 and 12 months out. So when I have a win, like, you have a win and a commission, something that comes in, or I have a deal close, I play that into the business and into my personal life months at a time. Like, I don't just go month to month, right? If I have a big win, I might even throw away a year's worth of income, like for my personal household.
Right.
Put a year over here.
Yeah.
And then put 2-3 months, whatever's left over, into the business.
Yeah.
So that's how I do it. So I'm still sacrificing. I'm just sacrificing at a different level.
Yeah. I mean, it's basically taking, my expenses and saying, okay, look, these are your expenses for this month.
Yep.
This month it's going to be the same. So basically it's basically doing a profit loss statement for each month.
Telling yourself that your rent is X and here's all your bills for the month. How many months can I cover with that amount of money?
Right.
And this is my bare minimum survival.
Right.
And then you play that out as deep as you can. Some people might get 1 month. Some people might get 2.5 months. Some people might get 3 months and 1 week. Yeah. But you just play it out as deep as it'll go. And then as that starts to compound and you bring in more commissions, you can always up the budget later. It's just survival mode for now while you're getting into the commission sales thing.
So, and then I guess also it's also kind of planning for when you have to pay for taxes as well. So you essentially just take,
it needs to be a part of your budget.
20% of what you're bringing in.
Ooh, yeah, at a minimum. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't like for single individual, like I would count on not being in the highest tax bracket your first tax year.
Right.
Probably not even your second because it's going to take you a while to get going. But eventually being single and unmarried and being a realtor, you're going to be in that high tax bracket. You're going to be 33, 35%. You're going to have some write-offs, but I would try to save at a minimum, 25 cents on the dollar, and set that aside. And then once you get that ball rolling, I would start paying money in quarterly, and I would make that a part of your have to have bare minimum survival budget.
Yeah.
Because they're going to come. That bill's coming.
That's one thing that just really throws me off is because eventually I'll probably have to do quarterly tax payments.
You should.
But how do I know what I'm going to be ended up paying over a course of a year?
So it's project, and that's another good.
Is that based off last year?
No, it's just based off your project. Like you say, my first year, I'm gonna have 50,000 in commissions. You get your tax preparer or H&R Block or one of our staff accountants. You get them to prepare a little pro forma that says, if you're making $50,000 a year, you need this much money at the end of the year to pay the government in your tax consequence, and so that's this much per month. And you put it on your budget as a line item.
Yeah.
And it needs to be like rent, income tax, or income tax, rent. I mean, it's coming, right? It's not like they're going to come cut your utilities off. You're going to file and you're going to owe and you're going to want to pay on time.
Well, what
and do the
happens
best you
if
can.
you give more than you were supposed to? You're probably
You get a check back.
Oh, you do?
Unfortunately, well, of course.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice.
Yeah. It's overpaying. It's just like taking the reason we've talked about this before. Most people get a tax check or tax refund is because they paid in more than they should have. They did that through their employer, who takes out the deductions. They've claimed more or less than they should, so their taxes are being withheld more. But then they get the big tax check, and they're like, "Woohoo! We got the tax check." Remember?
Yeah.
But that's just a no interest loan to the government. You gave them your money all year long. You want to
Right.
stay as close to zero as possible. So, in your case, if you paid in too much because you said, "I'm going to make 50 grand my first year," and you only made 35, well, then you paid in tax on 15,000 too much. You'll get a check back.
Yeah.
No big deal. You adjust it the next year, and you go, "Okay, well, I only made 35, so let's go 45 because I didn't hit 50. 45 seems achievable. I'll do that." So you pay in on 45, but you do 80. Well, you're going to owe the difference,
Right.
And you're going to owe that, and you're going to have penalties on it and stuff. So you're going to have to
God.
stay on top of it.
I'm gonna need an accountant.
Yeah, I mean, we have one here, so
Okay, cool.
you're good. Yeah, it's just questions and booking times and get a time with her or someone like that. But you know, the budget. And I want to throw this out here real quick. If anybody out there is in commission sales and wants a physical copy of a budget that's easy to follow, I'll send you one for free. Just tag us, do something. Let me know you want it, and we'll get it to you. You know, it's just a simple Excel spreadsheet. It's not that big a deal. Remember, a budget sounds scary, but it's really not. It's the most
Right.
It's the most freeing thing you can do for yourself financially
Yeah.
is to budget. You know, and as the budget grows and as your income grows and you have a handle on what you're doing, you know, you can really start to grow in all different aspects. You know, marching down the road towards debt free, marching down the road towards no car payments, marching down the road toward getting the credit cards paid off, saving for Christmas, saving for vacation. All that kind of stuff is built into a budget, and you define what the budget looks like. You know, if it's rent and $1,000 in Reese peanut butter cups, cool. If that's your budget, you get to decide what goes on it.
Yeah.
I don't think that's wise for health conscious reasons and a waste of money. But if
Right.
that's what you want to do, it's your budget.
Right.
And so the template for that's super simple. And if you're a commission salesperson, and there's others online, but I'm just throwing it out there for anybody that happens to be listening right now. We'll get you one and then be able to have conversations back and forth via email that would let you, you know, help you navigate that. If you look at it and you're still like, oh, I don't know, I don't understand this.
Right.
I mean, this should be stuff, jumping on education for a split second. This should be stuff that's taught in school,
Absolutely.
like in 5th grade. Because
Right.
it's really 3rd grade math.
Yeah.
It's really low on the totem pole as far as the understanding of it.
Right.
It's like, I have this much, I spend this much. These are the things I want to spend it on. At the end of the month, I don't have any. I got to either make more money or lower my budget.
Yeah.
It's simple. And so I think it should be something that's touched on and then, you know, really pushed at the collegiate level.
Yeah.
Like, this is just normal personal finance. This is not like
Yeah.
a finance degree on investing and running a company.
Right.
This is like personal finance.
Well, it's like everybody has to have an economics class. You know, someone should just have a basic finance class.
An economics class that you just blow off,
Yeah.
that you don't listen to because you think it's BS. I mean, really.
All I really need to know is just supply and demand.
Right. Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, it's supply and demand too when it comes to your dollars coming in and your dollars going out.
Right.
And a lot of times I think with that budget, budgets in general, if people really knew where their money was going, if they really stepped back and put it on paper, they would be like, holy crap. Like, even I do that sometimes. I'm like, I spent what on that? Really?
Yeah.
Wow. I got to put that in check. Like, I still have those checks and balances that when I do it once a quarter, I look back and man, I still get shocked sometimes. You know what I do? I course correct. I'm like, I'm not doing that for 3 more months. I'm going to kind of stay back a little bit off of that one vice or that one thing I want to do or that one activity or even that, you know, for sometimes it's us in business, like that freelance activity that I'm like, oh, just hire it done because we need it. And then you go spend a bunch of money on it. You're like, oh my gosh, like we got to find a better way. Like maybe we should hire somebody to do that in-house because that was really expensive, right?
Yeah.
So it's ongoing. It never stops. It's not once and done. It's not let's lock it in and put it away. It's done. Like that's not realistic.
Yeah.
You can do that in some senses where both either you or your spouse or your significant other have a stable, locked-in income with nominal increases over the life of your career, and you just go to work, come home, go to work, come home, get a paycheck. That, and you're never worried about your employment. It's always going to be there, so to speak. Then, yeah, a budget doesn't change that much,
right.
you know? For someone in the real estate business or in commission sales, it's volatile. It's a living, breathing document that always has to be massaged and changed and looked at quarterly, at a minimum annually, and really discussed if there's two parties involved, and really analyze if there's just a single party involved. And if you're single, you don't have a significant other, get an accountability partner. You know, like really.
I'll let you say, get online. There's some dating services out there for you to find someone to help you financially.
That's right. Maybe we should start like a financial dating service, something.
Sugar daddy. Wait, never mind.
No. Definitely not. I know where you're going with that. But yeah, so, you know, we went on and on about that, or I did anyway for a few minutes, but I'm super passionate about that, so I can't not talk about it enough.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah.
I'm not passionate about numbers at all. I think once I start seeing the money come in, I'm going to become passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of getting that ball rolling. And I think what's cool is I think, you know, right now you have a 40-year plan. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to figure out my 6-month plan.
40 days.
Yeah, 40-day plan.
40 days to success.
So I think it'd be really cool to like map out a 5-year plan, what that looks like in the upcoming episodes.
Yeah, and it's simple, really. It sounds I just want to sometimes it just drives me bonkers, right? When you deliver information, people latch onto it, and then there's no productivity, or there's no change, or there's no turnaround. And that's cool, I get it. Everybody's got a right to do what they want. But it's not rocket science. Like if you want a 5-year plan, you're like, in 5 years, I want to be making X number of dollars a year. Cool.
Yeah.
What about year 4, 3, 2, and 1, right? Well, in order to do that in the commission sales position you're in, how many units is that in year 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5? Okay. How many is that per quarter? Okay. How many is that per month? Oh shit, not achievable. Or, oh shit, I can do better than that, right? Yeah. And so you adjust. But it's really just mapping it backwards and saying, okay, if I want to do X number of dollars, I got to do 3 houses a quarter, or I got to do 500,000 a quarter in sales, or I got to do $1 million a quarter in sales. It doesn't matter if it's a building or 2 houses; it's the same money,
right?
Because the commission doesn't care what the asset was, right?
Okay, yeah. But then I guess is my why off? Because then I'm like, my why is for money. Am I doing it for the wrong reason then?
No, not at all. Not if money is the byproduct of your productivity, and all along the way you're living out your why.
Okay.
Correct?
Right.
So,
but how do I get that where it's not, okay, now I've reached my goal of X amount. Is that where complacency could then sit in?
No, you just kick it up a notch.
Yeah.
You find the next thing you want to conquer, you want to crush. What is the 5-year plan? What's the end result of that? I want to make X number of money so I can take a 10-week vacation? Or I want to make X number of dollars because I want to build up this thing over here because this thing trails alongside me. I think of it like this. You're in a car, you're on a highway, you're traveling out west, and it's a long, straight highway. And out on the left of you is a train track. And the train is going down the track, and you're going down the road, right?
Right.
And you're flying by train car after train car after train car after train car. But eventually, when you get to your destination, the train comes rolling in the station, right?
Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
So the train is the 5, 10, 15, 20, 25-year plan.
Right.
The 5-year plan is the road.
Yeah.
And as long as those two trail each other and they're always meeting up again at different destinations, like when you go to town and there's a depot and then the train goes this way, it's the same concept of life. Have that long-term goal, that long-term life plan, but be on the road over here, getting after it, hitting the gas, right? Affecting people, giving people rides along the way, right? Doing all that you do on the road, but have that train track over here, that slow locomotive pressing on, strong thing that every time you do something, you're adding a car to it, and the car's full of something, and you're going down that track, and it's just got the momentum and the strength to get there, and it can go up around and through the mountains, right? So, like, I think of it like that. It's two simultaneous missions. One's a little faster track than the other, but the other one's got this long-term goal. So you just look way out down the road and you say, what do I want to be doing? Do you want to be having, caviar, drinking champagne with George Clooney at his estate in Spain or wherever he lives? Because that's like just a pinnacle cool thing you want to do? Cool.
Yeah.
But what's the life like behind that one action?
Right.
Like I've got the one or two actions I'd love to do that are like, wow, awesome. But the life behind that little small moment in time is the real purpose of where I'm headed. And mine's all about education and entrepreneurship and legacy and all that stuff for me. Yours is mapped out differently, but it's just watching those two go together.
I kind of feel like the little engine that could right now.
Chugga, 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 chugga,
Yeah.
chugga, chugga.
But hey, at least I've got a train going,
Yeah.
So that's what matters.
Well, first, before the train can go, you've got to lay the tracks.
Oh, it's true.
So you lay the tracks, then you get the train, then you load the train. All the time you're over here doing this too. But every now and then you're laying a piece of track.
Right.
Every now and then you're laying a piece of track. And you're building that as you go along, and you're simultaneously moving down the road together. In your mind's eye, though, the track's already there all the way to the end of the day.
Right.
And so, it's deep. The older you get, that'll be a lot easier to think through. But
No, I'm like really living this visually in my head.
there's somebody right now that's
It's
going,
like,
what the hell is he talking about?
I'm looking at aerial America through the vision of a train.
It, dude. That's it. Yeah, it's fun. Well, I think that you're on the right path.
Or track.
You're on the right track. Yeah, path, road, track, journey. And so I'm excited for you. I'm excited for everyone listening to follow along, watch, listen. I'm excited to see where it goes. I am always cautiously optimistic, watching from afar but yet near.
It's kind of creepy. It's like you're like in the tree, just like
30,000 foot view, man. 30,000 foot view. I'm up here. I'm in my mind. I'm up here looking down, and I'm thinking to myself, okay, let's see how this plays out. And it's just fun to watch from up there, but also from right here.
Yeah.
So kind of cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we need a reality show. Ryan Seacrest, shout out.
Hook us up. Can we even say his name like legally?
I don't know. I've got a bigger butt than Kim Kardashian. We can get views.
That was great. That was great. Well, man, I'm so thankful for everyone's attention, listening, watching, doing all the fun stuff. There's a new chapter literally inside this organization that is coming, probably starting next week. There'll be a lot more stuff coming. We've got some new team members doing some different stuff. And I have been kind of on and off at the end of the summer, traveling a lot with family, doing different things. And so I've been fairly inconsistent with my social media stuff. But that's about to get a shot in the arm. We're going to a conference mid-month. We're going to come see you, Jocko, coming to the Echelon Front Muster 008 in Denver here in about 2 weeks, not even 2 weeks. So we're super excited about that. That'll be kind of the only thing we're doing for the fall that's corporately driven, kind of leadership-oriented stuff. I go to that stuff. I do. I go to that stuff.
Well, that's why it's everything that you know.
Yeah.
Because you're learning as we do this, and you're telling us about what you know.
It's always changing.
Absolutely.
You got to adapt and change. But outside of that, some vacation towards the holidays. But, man, we're going to grind it out September, October, November, December, and hit the ground running 2020 right around the corner. 20.
Yeah.
Blows my mind. It really does. I think it's going to be a really, really cool year.
I'm just glad to be on the ground floor level, one of the OGs as all this gets going.
That's it, dude. Yeah. That's what I tell Haas all the time, and HH over there, and other people inside here. It's fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Well, thanks everybody for listening, and we'll catch you next time. Hopefully you're watching too.
Yes.
And I'm out there on social, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, TikTok, Snap, Tumblr, Medium,
Zanga.
the list goes on. What? What's that?
Zanga. It was like before MySpace. I don't think it exists anymore.
Wow. Yeah, that's interesting.
What was your AOL Instant Messenger handle?
Oh my gosh. It was.
And did you use Comic Sans?
I did. I really did use that font. I think it might have been Verde 634.
Okay.
Or it could have been BLVD PREZ, Boulevard Prez. Because I was president of my own corporate, my home building company, Boulevard Homes.
Okay.
So it might have been Boulevard Prez.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that was probably early like email.
Yeah. That was Lazy Boy 2004.
That does not surprise me.
Haas wasn't even born yet.
That's great. Yeah, pretty much. Oh, dude, that's funny. Well, thanks for bringing back memories of that. And
absolutely.
Thanks for doing this today. We'll catch you next time.
All right. This has been the Everything I Know podcast. I'm your host, Jamie Whitley, talking to Senior Verde.